Where's the round of applause?
We ready for y'all.
We ready.
Welcome everyone.
We
All right, shut the fuck up now.
Have we started?
Yes, bro, we've recorded.
Why do you think we're clapping?
Episode 10.
Welcome to episode fucking
10.
We made it.
Episode
We made
10.
it. Bro, it's cold.
Double
My
digits.
hand.
Double digits. Let's
Wow.
go. Can we get a
Episode
clap
10.
for that? Surely.
Wrong one,
bro. Yay. Yay.
All right, welcome listeners, welcome. So what are we talking about today, boys? It's been 10 episodes, or this is 10
today.
episodes. Today, we are talking about...
Episode
We're
10.
gonna
and
reflect- because
We're not talking about
listen,
episode 10.
both of you shut up. Today we are going to reflect on
What we've learned.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reflect on the 10 episodes we've had.
Yeah.
On the saliva that's on Maddie's beard.
And yeah, just see what we learned and what we're going to be doing moving forward.
Yeah, honestly, can I just say thank you, boys, for the opportunity and your dedication, your relentlessness to record every week, and ultimately your company. I really appreciated it.
Oh, that's
Oh,
heartfelt.
yeah.
I felt that.
No,
Very
yeah,
nice.
no, I love
That's
you.
beautiful.
How good's this?
That's
Dropouts.
beautiful.
I'm actually surprised that. No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I was going to say I'm surprised that we made it to episode 10.
We're in like the top fucking.
But we said from the start.
5% or something right now.
We are.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
terms
We're
of
going
like
to get to 21.
continuation, not in terms of viewership or listenership by any means.
Yeah, so tell your friends about
But
us.
how many listens have we had? Because I haven't looked at the Spotify since a couple of weeks ago.
Over 1,000.
Over
Wow,
1,000.
let's
listens.
So
go.
we're consistently averaging over 100 views, listens an app. That's good.
Yeah, which is good. So we obviously got to amp that up. Once we get into our 3-month review, I guess we're going to start to sit down and do a little bit more in depth into what we're going to be doing for the next 10, the next 10 after
Get
that.
some guests on as
bit
well.
more
Get
planning.
some guests on, a bit more
Yeah.
planning.
Yeah, I think it was important for us to get to this point.
Yeah.
Episode 10 was just to put them out, and then we can have a little bit more, I guess, structure and regimen going forward.
And you know what I think though, like I the whole podcast idea is like going into the 10th episode. I'm like, it's actually quite easy to do. It's actually quite simple. So, for example, first starting out, the hardest part was like getting it started,
Right.
Getting all the equipment, getting a time, etc. We've had to change some times here and there, obviously, due to some factors. But we come to JP's at 7:30. We set it up. We're here for an hour. We talk and then we go home.
And it takes like 5 minutes to upload off the SD card.
100%.
Yeah, it's
So
easy.
it's actually that's what I've sort of found. It's coming into this episode, it's quite easy to do. The hardest part would probably be getting it out there.
Yes.
Which is what we've been
Yeah,
missing.
exactly right. And like
Yeah.
I think it's always going to be
Social,
like
et cetera.
our like 2-3 degrees of connections that are going to listen to it. But yeah, no, I feel the same. And it's been cool. Like I had a friend of mine, a good dear friend of mine who I work with for many years at LinkedIn, Andrew White. He listened to one of our episodes for the first time because he doesn't have Instagram, so he didn't see us promoting and stuff.
Yeah.
And mate, he loved it, and it turns out I think him and he's doing coaching now. Like he did like a master's in psych, and he does coaching and stuff now. And he he's always thought of doing something like that, and we've inspired him to do that. So
wow.
it's cool to hear stuff like that, just to encouraging people, inspiring people to do something similar, even if it's just. And I think people don't realize how simple and easy it is.
Yes.
Like when I told him
sort of-
we were like $300 all in each or something like that. When it's all said and done, and Spotify's free, SD cards fucking $20, whatever.
Yeah. It's not that hard, doesn't? It's just also making sure that you're consistent. Like that's the only thing about it.
consistency.
No matter how good you are, you're obviously still trying to work it out how to communicate with each other. Unless you're doing it by yourself, but who talks, who doesn't
Correct.
talk, and all that sort of stuff. But it all comes.
It gets so much easier over time, right? Like I feel like at the beginning, it's like, you know what I mean? But you're like kind of like, oh, when do I speak? And am I speaking enough? Am I speaking too little?
much,
Whereas
yeah.
now it's like I feel like if I'm less insecure about being quiet for a while.
Yeah,
now.
totally.
Whereas at the beginning, I was a bit
Yeah.
insecure about it. I was like, oh, should I make sure that I'm heard?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
I think that we've changed the setup has helped as well. It's a little bit more naturally free flowing, a bit more
Yeah.
conversational. It's not as if we're all sitting there with our laptops, as if we're we're so rigid with our opinions
Yeah.
and that we're coming with a lot of backing, because we're not. And like you alluded to earlier, if nothing else, we've got the consistency which outworks, I would say, to our benefit, rather than there's probably people who communicate maybe even better than us, or have a PhD, or they've got they're a specialist in their field. We don't really have any of that, but what I think we do have more than anything else is the consistency and accountability.
Done is better than perfect, and I think that we nailed that because we don't. so many people, and like, you know, I've said this before, and you guys have even said it. People come up to us, but are you planning this? Do you plan that? And I'm literally like, no,
Off the cuff.
Yeah.
because the main thing for us is like literally getting it done. Whereas I'm sure there have been so many, you know, productions like this that have maybe gone to shit because people are like, oh no, we're not prepared enough for it.
Yeah,
and then let's skip 1 week, and then all of a sudden like one person drops off and whatever, you know.
Well, I think we can really shoot for the moon here and try and you know, once we sit down and have a little bit more, I guess, of a plan going forward, but only a plan comes to fruition once you've set a big goal or a few big goals, because otherwise, you know, setting a plan without having that goal in mind, then what are you really planning towards? So I think once we can go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, we've got 10 episodes, 20 episodes under our belt. What is it that we actually want to see come to pass through?
What's the purpose?
What's the
Where are we
purpose
going
of
with
this
it?
episode? Do we want to help people? Is it something that we could actually see, you know, being monetized? You know, a lot of people, like I heard Alex Hormozy and a lot of other people, I keep referencing Hormozy, but
I
he just
fucking love that guy.
he just breaks it down in a real simple way. He's like, you know, if you're trying to make $100,000, you're gonna think of ways to trade your time for that money, or you know, or working for that money. Whereas if you start to think in terms of $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, you're going to use things other than time for leverage, right? So it's going to be like your expertise or the skills that you've stacked in order to, you know, achieve that desired outcome. And for us, the start, it was just our time. It's like, we're going to put time in to get 10 episodes out. Now, even having 10 episodes is leverage, because it's like, okay, we have somewhat of a platform. We have at least 10, 15 people that listen, whatever it is. And the more we go, the more time we start to trade off, then we actually have a bit more leverage to be able to.
But all we're doing at the moment is just deliberate practice.
Correct.
Like it's just deliberate practice. And
100%.
we like you said, there might be people out there that speak better, that can articulate things a little bit better, maybe. And I think that for me personally, that's something that I still need to get better at when I listen back to the podcast, to get my views and my points out in our podcast. But you know, if we're going to be consistent and we're going to be working towards something, like at least at this point in time, it's that deliberate practice, getting better. And then at some point in time when we're doing 50, 100, then we can get to that stage where we can maybe monetize and go bigger and better.
What would be like what would you want to see with the Dropouts podcast? Like, apart from, you know, monetizing and things like that, like what is the impact that you hope that this would have to others? Or even to yourself.
Yeah, I'd love us to go a little bit more in depth with regards to our own personal expertise, like where we are, the authority that we have within our own scopes. Again, which I'm not rushing into that.
No.
Like that can happen at some
totally. But it's good to put that on the table.
But also looking at like the guests, like we've spoken about before. You guys just sipped at exactly the same time.
It's called synchronicity.
There you go.
Is that a word?
Synchronized.
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure synchronicity.
No, synchronicity.
New word by the Dropouts.
Synchronicity?
It's definitely not a word. If I'm
New one
wrong,
now.
Synchronization.
I'll do an apology on the next episode.
Episode 11.
I'll do
JP
a
apologizes.
public apology.
But then also like getting guests on, like I think that's gonna sort of
It's gonna open up a new door.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about leverage. I think still sick from last week.
I think me too.
No, that actually could be our form of like leverage in terms of scale, right? Like, I mean, you mentioned at one point, you know, I'm just talking hypothetically, you know, that guy Chebo, or like someone who people are like, oh wow, I really want to listen into that. I've never listened before, but they've got someone super interesting on there. That could be our form of. I think that is what will take.
I'll tell you what it is.
If we're thinking about listenership or viewership, that will probably what takes that to a different.
It's mutually beneficial.
level.
That's why.
Yeah.
And once we have a few more episodes under our belt, then it's even more compelling.
Well, it's not. I mean, it is mutually beneficial, but we're going to be benefiting a lot more than that.
Yeah.
person.
I disagree.
Well, if we get someone like, let's just hypothetically say we get someone like I don't know this guy, but you've mentioned his name before, that Chebo guy,
Right. But it's not just the amount of views that they get, because number one, it's giving them a platform to which people that don't already know them. It's giving them free content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because his platform's huge.
Sure.
I'm talking about like people that are like that scale.
Don't undervalue yourself. Don't undervalue yourself.
I've got a lot to offer, but it's certainly not viewers.
Sure.
It's
1,000 listeners, bro.
and listeners. It's a lot, like, you know.
You know, I do agree. I do agree to an extent, but I also feel like if I'm,
You have to have that confidence as well.
you do 100%.
That with what you
gotta be
have
bold.
is
Like, I'm definitely not
What you
going to
have
go
is of
up to him
value.
and be like, bro, listen, I've got this mad value proposition for you. All right, here's what you're going to get out of it. I'm just going to be like, listen, bro, we've got a little podcast. We're looking to get some guests on that have a
course.
decent audience, and we'd love to we'd just love to have you on or like
100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What are the types of people that you sort of want on the show? I definitely would like a good mix of people, I guess.
Go,
that
JB.
I've got, bro. I just
got some
it's
people.
not even. This guy's not even big, and he's not gonna get like. It's not even that. But this guy, this guy I know, Mitch Taylor. I just know him through other people. I've mentioned it to you before. He's a bow hunter.
Bow hunter, yeah,
bro.
yeah.
What is the you have
Brother,
to shut up about this bow hunter.
bro, it's so fucking
What's a bow
interesting.
hunter?
Bro, he literally.
Ever since he had his lioness fucking almost died.
Yeah, I know.
He
I'm
wants to
interested in the
hunt
wildlife.
with a
the
bow?
wildlife.
Literally, so he's got an Instagram page called Mitch Goes Bush. Shout out, Mitch. I think he
Oh, okay.
listens a couple of times because he messaged me on Instagram going, bro, thanks for the shout out. I forgot I even mentioned it.
Oh, no
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so he's got a page called Mitch Goes Bush, and the bloke literally like hunts, but with a bow.
That's sick.
and
That's pretty mad.
these guys get like 1 kill every 6 months is like a massive achievement.
Oh,
wow.
So this is like waiting in the bush for like hours and hours and hours and hours on
patience, but it
end,
can- yeah.
not making a single noise, taking your shot, missing, and then not like this is. And then once he went to went to Hawaii and met up with these other bow hunters, and they were like killing fucking deers every day. and
my
it was-
God.
bro, it's so fascinating.
Fuck, it would
It's
be.
such
That
a-
is cool. And I feel like that's cooler than shooting guns. Like I've been hunting a
Yeah,
couple
like
of
it's
times.
so interesting.
I've
killed
never
a-
been hunting.
It's
Yeah.
not a
I've
good
never been
feeling.
hunting
I don't
either.
think I could kill an animal now in terms of
A
like
lot of people have said it's a weird feeling.
it
after-
is.
yeah.
I shot a kangaroo
shoot-
with a shotgun.
How was
Bang!
that? Oh,
Fucking
bro,
thought he
shotgun.
just-
So you
Oof.
fucking you would have blown his whole.
Bro, I fucking blew his
existence.
neck out the
'Cause
pool.
You've headbutted my
thought of it.
TV about
The
4
Joey
times.
off. Bro, seriously. Like shooting, like I know this sounds bad, but like shooting little rabbits and stuff is like kind of funny, but like not funny. Here we go. I'm gonna get all vegans triggered.
Off we go. Yeah.
No,
If we had a
it's in.
following, mate.
Yeah, if we had an EV. But shooting the kangaroo, I didn't feel great. Even though like in the farmers in Australia, they encourage you to shoot them because they're pests.
Because
They
they're
It's
break
on the
the
coat of arms, bro. It's hard.
Yeah, it's like when you eat fucking kangaroo. I've never eaten kangaroo. I'm like,
I've
bro,
never-
that's Skippy.
What about that guy the other week on the news? Like he had an ibis in the back of his car. Didn't you hear that on the news?
No.
Oh my god,
Like
he
the
got
bin
arrested.
chicken?
He
Oh,
the
bin chicken.
He got
Yeah.
arrested. He got
What?
arrested because
I fucking hate that
he
animal.
kidnapped an ibis and he was going to
Good.
go home and murder it so that
Good.
he could eat it.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
He-
that's
he
sick.
That's a
he
bit
wanted
weird.
to taste the ibis.
That's sick. That thing goes through the trash.
they
Hey,
go
maybe
through
we should-
KFC. They eat their own. They eat their other birds.
Cannibals.
Maybe we should get that guy. Maybe we should get that guy on the podcast. But like, just guess that can add value to the listeners. That's
Yeah.
obviously what you want.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
we spoke
true.
about
That's what you want.
Johnny from 180. I think he'd be a great guy on the podcast.
I reckon Regan as well.
Riggs.
I think Regan.
Riggs would be good.
100%.
Regan
He'll
would be
great.
great. Yeah, it'd be great.
Hey, do you reckon he'd go all serious?
I think he'd try and. I think he'd try and just sort of, keep shouting out bros, shout out Regan. No, we'd love to have him on. Who else? Maybe outside of...
Bro, having Maxi on and talk about pork crackle hunting.
Yeah,
Oh,
Maxi's
yeah.
a great one.
Hunting.
I'd
Yeah,
like to
just
even shoot for
interesting-
people that
interesting
maybe we don't
people.
even know personally.
No, 100%. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and but that's the thing. Like, how many times we're gonna have them on? who's
I like
gonna-
my cousin Oliver. It'd be interesting to hear about his journey in the gym and stuff.
Yeah, no, but also, he's got his cleaning business as well. Cleaning business, and then what he's going to be going into the gym. Yeah. I mean, I think we have a lot of people like at least 5 episodes.
And
Yep.
people that like epitomize the whole like, because look, I know we haven't veered away from it by any means, but like bringing it back to like, okay, well, who are some people that kind of epitomize the dropout,
The dropout
thing,
sort of theme.
Like,
Yeah.
I think Oliver's a great example of that. He's someone that is just like always just kind of figured shit out. He left school, left uni, and so anyway.
Yeah.
I think there's some of the most interesting people that you can talk with is maybe like the unassuming ones where maybe they don't follow and like what the Dropouts was based upon originally, which was like, I guess taking that path less traveled or going off the beaten track where, he's against all odds. He maybe doesn't have that formal education. He doesn't have that certificate or, the white picket fence, that beautiful job and traditional way of doing things. But against all odds, he's been able to persevere. I love those kind of stories.
Gone through some adversity. Like, everyone goes through adversity. But like having guests that are open to being like
Ned Brockman.
open and honest, and
very vulnerable
very
about the
vulnerable stuff like
situation.
that.
Yeah,
and
great.
that's a good question. Like, what was your favorite episode? Like I love that relationships episode.
Yeah.
Man, everyone loves that fucking episode, man. It was so
Yeah.
deep,
It was.
man. And like,
I
I
love
always,
that
everyone that
one.
was going to listen to it, I'm like, make sure you listen to the very end.
Yeah. That's what Ari put up.
Yeah, Ari put it. I think
Yeah,
Ari was a
yeah,
bit surprised.
yeah.
It was like, damn, okay.
Yeah, bro. Even Jules came up to me the other day. He's like, bro, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's,
That's crazy.
Yeah. But then again, how can
My
we?
mate J Ray messaged me about it as well the other day. He goes, he just messaged me the mind blown emoji, episode 5.
Mind blown. I think it was like code for something.
Yeah, holy shit. I didn't even think of that. Literally.
Ned Brockman. I want to get him on the fucking
Ah,
podcast.
yes.
Oh, bro,
Fuck, shoot.
100%.
Aim high,
Ned
bro.
Brockman.
Aim high.
Yeah, 100%.
Imagine we get David Goggins on the podcast.
Nah, he's milked now. We don't want him.
Okay, so like, you know, get down and give me 50 push-ups, you know what I mean?
But those would be like our
nothing.
Y'all gotta stop. I went out the other day. I went running. Someone told me they were tired. I said, stop being a bitch. Stay hard. Stay hard.
Stay hard. Yeah, but even those, those gets to some people that we can get at some time down the road.
There'd be a funny Viagra commercial with like David Goggins as an ambassador. Can't keep it up in the bedroom? Viagra. Stay hard.
There you go.
That's good. I like
Pitch
that.
it to him. Maybe he'll come on the podcast. There you go. But what about you? What else have you learned from this journey?
This journey of life?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even 10 weeks.
You know what I've learned?
Months.
I've just, because we're in this setting, like it goes without saying I've learned stuff about you guys that I didn't know before. But because of the setting, it's given us dedicated time to sit down and not just listen, but to probe and ask more questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's just taught me that, like, you know, I think a lot of the time it's easy to have surface level chats when you're out. You know, how are you? You're good. Someone mentions something, you go, "Yep, sweet, I'll leave that." And there's a bunch of other conversations.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, it's been very much an excuse and the setting to kind of probe and go deeper on stuff, which I found really interesting. And like,
I learned that from you.
Everyone's got a story.
Yeah, I like how you probe and ask questions the first couple of weeks. Is like, I feel like I can, even sometimes now, but even before we even done the podcast, is like just want to talk and maybe not even like consciously, but when you're actually able to like probe those questions and like get a little bit more information, they're the best interviewers. The reason Joe Rogan is so successful is because he just finds a way to like let the person talk, then he'll like throw in another little nugget or a little, you know, something for that person to jump onto, and then they'll just springboard off into another
And he's
thing.
just got genuine curiosity.
He does.
You
He's
see it
curious.
in his face.
Yeah.
He's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's why he goes for like 3-4 hour episodes.
Yeah.
Like that's a
I
long.
can't even watch them, bro. I watch the shorts.
The clips.
Yeah, the clips are good.
That's a long time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, but you know, and that's why he's the best. 10, 12 years, I think he's been.
Maybe we'll get Rogan on.
Or Theo Von.
Theo Von.
I was at the gym the other day, and we were just talking about. I had a clip come up and I showed it to Johnny, but we were just talking about how funny he is. Have you seen that one where he's like, "Look, the truth is that people are without hair." Take for example, Will Smith's husband. She lost it.
That's so funny, man. So what's the story there? So she was sleeping with her child's friend.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that I heard that she was unfaithful.
August Alsina.
No,
is
but
the
that
rapper.
was-
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Nah, but they were like having a break or something. They were sort of on a break or some shit. I don't know. And then she slept with.
Keep my wife's name at your
Oh,
Yeah.
bro,
Well-
imagine how hard it would be to have. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great things about their life, of course, but imagine how difficult that would be to have your whole relationship on show like that. And like as a man,
mate.
Yeah, but
And
they
like-
wanted that, but they
Oh,
have
no,
that.
no, no.
They have that red table talk, and they fucking talk about everything.
Oh, do they?
Bro,
Okay.
they talk about everything.
you're right. You're right.
So it's like, and they had the conversation when that happened. Him, Will Smith and Jada had the conversation on the red table,
Oh no way.
like legit, like full conversation
Wow.
about what actually happened.
Yeah. I swear.
Right, and that's when the
Wow.
memes came out about.
I hate celebrities, man.
Oh,
Honestly.
bro.
Imagine you
fucking
can't have your cake
stupid.
and eat it too. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Do you know
it's
like you know where that saying comes from? It's like you can't have your cake, like the beauty of it, and then it be there, and then eat it too. As in, you can't
Have
it
the
there
beauty
and
anymore
nice
by
and
still
eat
eating
it,
it.
because when you eat it, you're ruining it. Like you
ruining
can't
it.
have both.
I've always wanted to understand that a little bit more.
Yeah,
that saying.
I googled it. I didn't like.
Yeah.
I didn't work it out myself. I always googled, bro. Like the
How good's Google,
the
bro?
origin of like
100%.
RX. You know, I've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Right?
RX like the
Yeah.
workouts.
Do you don't know what that is? RX, like RX. I always thought to myself, what does that mean, right?
What does it stand for?
It's so cool. I love this. Basically, the story goes as if it's some urban legend. But when I was at the gym, I found out what RX meant because I googled it. But at first I was like, oh, what is it? Recommended exertion? Why
Yeah.
the fuck is it? I actually thought
that's a
that.
good guess,
That's a
Mark.
pretty good guess.
That's a pretty good
That's
guess.
not it though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was looking into it, and it turns out that RX comes from Latin, and it actually means it comes from the word to take. And then if you go back even further, it actually comes from the term recipe, right? But then if you physically look at the way that RX used to be written, you'll notice that it used to actually be on pharmacies. The R was the eye of Horus, who was the god of medicine,
yes.
and the god of like fucking whatever.
You still see that Eye of Horus on a lot of Egyptian.
But that's the crazy
pharmacies.
thing about it. The Eye of Horus is like the R, and then there was like the X written into it. So it all comes from this whole idea of like what to take, or the recipe, or the prescribed. Yes, what's prescribed. So that's what it's prescribed for the weights.
For the weights.
So
there you go.
that's massive, man.
I love that. I love like looking at origin of
Yes,
words.
etymology.
Is that what it is? Etymology.
That's the
Even
term.
did you know that like English and Swedish like very similar language? Like
No.
English and Swedish very similar. Like you'll find a lot of words that are very similar in the English and Swedish language. Like what is it? Phonetics is like the way they sound. The way they sound. But the Swedish they speak, they almost sound like they're singing when they speak. It's like a melody. They're like hoo, ho, ho, do, do, do. And you're just like they almost sound like they're speaking. But a lot of words are really similar, like blood and blood and book and book.
Oh yeah.
And like things are very similar. Just the way they say it. But yeah, a lot of similar words. It's really
Bierenhagen hamburger.
yeah, but okay. What else, boys? I think episode 10 has been like leading up to episode 10. I'm actually just happy that we've actually just decided.
Man,
to
I
stick
can't
with
believe
it.
we've done 10.
I know.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it wasn't,
Like
man, it's not hard. Like, as in to just get them done.
That's
you know?
what I mean. Yeah, like it doesn't take the time itself doesn't take that much. I mean, again, we have to look at like some more specifics into what we're going to be talking about, and I think also let people know what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
To
like. Yeah,
And I
to
feel
like
like
get people excited. We need to get our socials better. Get people excited. But like, I think the other thing is, and I hope that people get the vibe that you guys having fun.
I'm having the most fun.
Yeah,
it's
and
fun.
That number
it's
one,
fun.
we're doing it for that more than anything else. But number two, it's like when we go continue to press on, I'm aware that it's probably going to take like literally up to 100 episodes.
Yeah,
for those like ideas in our heads to come to life. Hopefully before, but I'm just saying like I'm in it for the long run.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But even along the way there's going to be turbulence.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to punch on with you, bro.
Yeah, and episode
Get in
6,
the
I think
ring.
episode 6 and 7 were like, it's starting to get a bit. It's like it's a bit difficult to continue to press it on, but then you just continue to press on. And then
But that was like, what episode did we do when we had to do it on a Thursday?
at the gym.
The gym episode was good because that's when we came together closer and we were like it made
That was one of the
flowed a bit
funniest
better.
episodes.
Yeah, that was
flowed
mad.
more. I think that was probably the best one that we.
I was actually just thinking about things that I've struggled with, and one thing that I've just realized I did struggle with when we were like, and still I think to this day, it's just like a genuine struggle for me is like not being like apologetic with my opinion and how I feel
Which I
about
love.
something.
Yeah.
Because because I tend to be, and I think it's because I feel like. What a wanker. I've always felt like I've had the ability to be very empathetic
Yes.
for other people, like put myself in their shoes and be like somewhat compassionate in the sense that like putting myself in their perspective. But, I think that's one thing that I need to, is just kind of like,
be a bit more raw.
I guess just be a bit more like, I understand where other people are coming from, but this is my
This is
stance.
what you
100%.
think.
This is my stance.
Which is good because I feel like now we're just in a generation where it's okay if you don't agree with something that someone else says.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or what people have their perception of you, or whatever their perception of you is, it's okay. Like if they think something about you, that's.
And
You know
people
who's the
shouldn't
biggest
hate
hypocrites?
you.
The
No.
fucking LGBTQIA plus A B C D E. All right. Okay. And again, you don't have to agree with me. But the thing is, like, you don't agree with what I'm saying, but you have to. So it's like they're using if you use their logic against them, right? Like it doesn't stand.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
It doesn't
It's like,
stand.
There's like you like if I think there's the feeling of like if you don't agree with me, then you hate my existence.
Correct.
And you don't want me to.
Correct. And that's
exist in
absolutely. That
society.
couldn't be so far from the truth. I have
Yeah.
so many gay friends.
And the thing is, my manager, my boss is gay, and look, man, we get along like a house on fire. The guy knows I go to church every week. Yeah, it's not like we sit around and talk about these kind of social political issues, but the fact of the matter is that, just because I and my belief system, doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with everything to do with that.
Totally.
Doesn't mean that
and they won't agree with everything that you do. In
100%.
your life, and
Which is
that's
totally
okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, hang on, but that was going back to my
but I will
point.
say-
But it isn't it okay with a lot for not the grand majority, but for a select few in the minority, and the things that you're seeing being pushed right now is like, no, it's not okay that you don't have a disagreement of opinion, even though it's okay if I disagree with them. Do you know what I mean?
No, but I feel like where it goes
street.
wrong is the hostility when it comes in from both angles. I think like there's always like every party's going to feel like they're on the receiving end of hostility. Like for example, not having a go at you, Maddie, but like even when you come out and say LGBT and you name like 16 letters after it,
Yeah.
like no matter who hears that, they're going to be like,
He's taking the piss.
He's fucking why is he gronking me for?
Yeah.
Well, because they have unlimited genders, don't you know?
No, but what I'm saying is, like, if the intention is to get a very valid point across about something like that,
You'd be very strategic.
You'd be wise not to
to hammer it.
To hammer it.
Do you know if
I mean? As in for someone, if the genuine intention is to actually get
Engage
that
in
person to
dialogue.
open their mind up,
true.
the first thing they do when they hear that, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
100%.
Fuck
He's
that
taking
guy.
the piss.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know
Do you
what
know
I'm
if I had
saying?
$1 for how many genders there were, I'd have 2 dollars. I'm just taking the piss. We're just having a laugh. We're just having a laugh.
But that's a good thing as well. Like you say, like trying to get your opinion across without feeling like
I have to be.
you have to be like, oh look, just so you know, this whatever.
Treading on
like,
eggshells.
Treading eggshells.
Yeah. I think it's just because like it's not like I feel like it's not a nice feeling to know that you feel like you've like upset someone naturally like
or judge somebody unfairly or
whatever.
whatever.
That's the thing. I don't want people to
is,
feel like that, and that's the one thing is that I don't want. I feel like I don't want anyone to feel like I'm judging or condemning them.
No,
that's not
that's not what we're doing.
No,
But we just have an opinion.
Yeah, but that's hard to do also unless people actually know who you are, and that's what people look at. They go, "This is surface level. This is what I see." Oh, JP thinks this. Oh, he's a shit guy, even though they don't even know you, right? But that's what it means to seek to understand before being understood.
You said that to me once when I'm like, where the fuck were you at training or something like that, and you were like,
yeah. So walk in somebody else's shoes before you actually understand. It's like when you talk about being a parent and giving somebody a iPad. It's like, well, unless you're actually a parent and unless you've actually
100%.
walked through that, then you don't necessarily understand. But again, when you say what you want to say on this podcast, again, I understand what you mean. Like that's like me as well. I'm like, oh, okay, well, a bit empathetic. Bit more, but with Matty, when Matty says whatever he's saying and he's pretty straight up, I look at him, I'm like, no, that's cool.
Yeah, good. Like,
that's fine.
But I don't want people to think it's a lack of empathy because
No.
it's not a lack of empathy. It's just like being, especially when it comes to things like morals and values and the degradation
Strong
of
in your
society.
own,
Do you know what I mean? But
strong
I
in
feel
what
like,
you believe.
but also I get it because I feel like I feel like you're coming from the perspective of, well, I'm fucking sick and tired.
correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's the way that it is like I'm fed up and this is just how I fucking feel.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This is it. Like I'm.
But and it doesn't. This extends beyond the issue that we're just talking about. I think it's good to have that, that empathy, but it's also good to like be standard to not feel like that you can't have your own voice.
Exactly.
Do you know
right.
what I mean? This goes beyond just me.
agreed.
This goes
Agreed.
with all of
But
you
then
guys.
that's also the conversation that we want to have about the dropouts. Like, is that what we want to be?
Correct.
Right? We want to be a podcast where we can speak our truth.
100%,
Say what
yeah.
we want and, be able to not, after it go, oh, fuck, did I say that? Or or feel like we've done the wrong thing. And I think people respect that if you can speak whatever you feel and whatever the truth that you have, and then go from there. But hopefully that gets a little bit better for us. And I think you're good with it, but I think me and JP might need to work on that a little bit.
But that's okay. There's things that
But I think it's good. It's a good
bad
balance.
at.
Like it's good.
Yeah.
Like I mean, this is the thing, right? You don't want to have three people that are
Oh
the
my
same.
god! Imagine
of course not.
If I imagine having three Matties on the show, I'd fucking kill myself.
Probably get the viewership up. 10,000, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you got three JPs, then you just got like three like yes,
That's Matty's way of saying you're intelligent, JP.
That's exactly correct.
Class clown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the next 10 episodes is going to be crazy because 35, I think it was 37 that we want to try and get by the end of the year. Can you imagine last week of this year, which is 6 months
So
away?
if we just keep doing this for
it'll be 37.
wow,
I think.
bruh.
37 episodes.
Bruh.
I think. Yeah. Then I think like 10 episodes here. We got another 10, 20, another 10, 30. Fuck, how are we going to sound? Who we're going to have? What guests we're going to have? But I think that consistency will be easy for us to get there. But we got to get another mic. As well for our guests.
And we have
That's
to
the
work
next
out how we're going to get 4 people talking on one podcast.
thing. I know, yeah. Well, a lot of people do it. Like, there's a lot of podcasts out there.
You're right. They've got heaps. They got
heaps.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, like the Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schultz.
Oh, Andrew Schultz is a funny guy.
Like his podcast, there's 4 of them. And
He's
they
on
have
a few,
guest.
bro. He's got one called The Brilliant Idiots. I listened to an episode the other day because my mate,
maybe it's
my
not the
mate
Flagrant.
Lance
Maybe
told
it's
me
that
about
one.
it.
Yeah, he had one called
No,
the
it's just-
Flagrant.
This one's with fuck. It's Andrew Schultz and
The Indian guy.
Oh my god, I
The
don't
Indian
know.
guys.
Oh no, Charlemagne the God, the guy from that Hot 96 radio.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Charlemagne, yeah.
Charlemagne. Yeah.
Charlemagne.
And,
yeah, he's got
that's a good one,
That's a
actually.
new
I listened to
one.
one
That's a new one.
Oh,
yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Brilliant Idiots, it's called. My
Yeah.
mate Lance
I
Alfred
don't
told me
watch
about it.
I don't listen to heaps of podcasts. to
I
be
don't
honest.
either.
Yeah, I see
There's
some of
one
the-
mad
bad.
one. What's the dropouts?
Nah, I haven't listened to too many of ours. I just try and listen when there's
But that's what we
bit
need
of
to
feedback.
That's probably what we need to do when we do guests. I think we have to look at some podcasts that have guests and go, okay, well, not to
How do they
copy
do it?
them. And
No,
just
but
see
it's
how
good
their
just the
dynamic
Format
works.
and how they do it and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then the episode it's they're at the center of it, and it's not necessarily about the person specifically, but maybe like their expertise in an area and
Yeah.
like what their genre or surrounding
Yeah.
or expertise is in. Like if it's John, for example, he's definitely going to be around the health and fitness space, and we can probe and ask questions about those type of things.
Yeah, well, that's what it's going to be like. They're going to be talking most of the time. We're just going to be listening. But you should listen to. Have you heard about the Call Her Daddy?
What?
Call Her Daddy. It's like one of the top podcasts.
I've heard of it.
Call her daddy.
Yeah, so I don't know her name, but she just has guests on, and it's just a deep dive into these people's lives and relationships and love and all this sort of stuff. But it's like one of the top 5 podcasts in the world.
Wow.
It's massive.
Why is it called Call Her Daddy?
I don't know. It was her. It was the girl that does it. It was her and another girl. And I think it was just a play on, Call Her Daddy. I don't know.
They got daddy issues, these two guys.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just the name that they came up with. I don't know.
I have no idea. I haven't listened to it.
They got daddy
Yeah,
issues.
but anyway, they I've listened to a few short clips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of I look back at our relationships podcast where it was very deep, very emotional and etc. I was like, they got some pretty good podcasts out there for.
And I think that's the
to
thing as
get
well.
some
It's like
ideas
got to
around
be
it.
thought provoking and like and a
gotta
lot
be
of
different.
emotional probing is something like obviously the relationships everyone can sort of empathize with that. Travel maybe some people can empathize with that.
Yeah.
I think trying to find those topics where we not only have that genuine like a response or background in, but other people can be like, oh man, I really felt that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well,
I think
yeah.
finding those type of topics is like pretty key.
Yeah, there's another one, The Diary of a CEO. It's the entrepreneur. His name's Stephen in UK, and he had Gary Vaynerchuk on, again, it's just one-on-one.
I love Gary.
Very, very deep conversations, but Gary Vaynerchuk started crying, and majority of the episodes that they start
Oh my
crying.
God, I
and
actually need to listen to
they
that because
get
I feel like
very-
Gary Vaynerchuk I feel like he's good, but I feel like I've seen his.
Shit
He
so
says
much.
the same
Yeah,
stuff over
same.
and over again, which is.
yeah.
You can be like 47, 32,
I
29.
actually know that.
Yeah, actually nailed it down, yeah. So I think that's probably something we.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, that was his big
He
thing
just
for
got a
him.
fucking garage sales, man.
I don't get his stuff come off my feed as much anymore.
Yeah,
Well, he
you probably
talks more
stopped
Maybe
about
doing
I've, you know why I've
he talks more
slipped
about
I've slipped out of the 18 to
algorithm.
25-year-old
that. Oh yeah, you're just
target.
Yeah. So maybe even listen to some other podcasts, and again, we're not trying to copy anybody, but get some ideas.
Yeah, definitely get a bit of inspo.
Yeah.
Get inspiration.
Shackers.
Yeah.
Well, we
Well,
wanted,
there you
wanted that one to be.
You right, mate?
Yeah, all good. Just had
Yeah,
something
wanted
in
that
my
one to be a
throat.
quick in and out, just a bit of a reflection on what we've
Yeah.
done so far. A
Yeah.
couple of tangents along the way, never hurt anyone.
Yeah,
No, definitely not.
Episode 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on.
Next one.
The boys are on.
The boys are on. All right. Thanks for listening, team.
Thanks,
Episode
gang.
10.
Episode 10.
Episode 10.
What we learned and what we're looking to do moving forward.
Gracias, amigos.
Catch your dropouts.
Catch you, Salam.